Hi, D-Lيم here. When it comes to 1995, the sales of DXN had crossed 2 million ringgit per month, which was about 800,000 USD at the time. It was a good sales 25 years ago and a good time for DXN to expand overseas. The natural choice at the time was Thailand. The reason was simple. Our farm and factory is only 45 minutes drive to the Thai border. And in Kedah state alone, we have 10% of Thai origin. Some villages even speak Thai to this day. Many of the key people in our farm also speak fluent Thai. Even for me, my grandmother was Thai. My father spoke fluent Thai and Malay. Many stores and petrol stations owner thought my father was a Malay and spoke Malay to him. My father never bothered and always chatted with them in Malay. Only when the handphone became common, all the stores and petrol station owner had a shock of their life when they heard my father talking in Chinese. Not only my father, every time when I travel by the Thai airline, sometimes when I cross the border, even though I'm holding a Malaysian passport, the Thai officer spoke Thai to me. Apparently, they know I have Thai blood. Initially, I'm puzzled by this now. How could they tell I have Thai blood? So one day, I'm chatting with my Thai key staff and asked her how she could tell that I have some Siamese gene. She told me every Thai would know I have Thai blood. I asked her, how? She said, by looking at my eye. They know I have Thai heritage. They really amaze me, And it's true. By looking at the eye, I can differentiate a Thai, Filipino, and Indonesian letter. About Thai market, the main problem is that I could not understand and speak Thai. But for southern Thailand, that is not a problem, as there are also many local Malays who speak Malay with some northeastern Malaysian slang, the Kelantanese like that. But at least I could communicate with them. In the early day, most of the members of the DXN were the Malays, and naturally they started to sponsor the Malays in southern Thailand. This is welcome by me, as I could communicate with them easily. Very soon, members introduced one rich family of Malay in southern Thailand to join hands with DXN to establish the market in Thailand. DXN formed a company together with him and two of his friends. They were the major shareholder, and DXN held a minor share. That was okay. It is alright for DXN to make some money from the factory, and the market we could share with our partners. Very soon, more and more people started to join DXN in Thailand, and we could get 400 to 500 members at a time. And it was very convenient for the Thai member to visit our farm and factory due to proximity to Thailand. This is even true to today. Visitation of the farm has more Thai members than local Malaysian members. So by right, Thailand should be our first market outside Malaysia. But we never mention Thailand, but give the credit to Indonesia and say it is Indonesia, our first major market after Malaysia. Why was it so? Because at the time, we committed two fatal mistakes in the Thai market. First, we let a member become our shareholder, and they could develop the market. This immediately created some issue, as the members in Malaysia could not compete with them. The company and shareholder become a competitor to the members. You may wonder, I am very firm with PASU and do not let members enter into shareholding of the company. Then why in Thailand we allow it to happen? The reason is very simple. The time Thai did not allow foreigner to hold majority shares in a JV company, and a foreign company could not do retail sales in Thailand. We need a local shareholder. Secondly, it was the language. Most Thai do not speak English at the time. Thai was the only language they knew. Due to pressure from the members to establish the market in Thailand quickly, we do not have too much time to think it over and choose the easier way out by making the member to be the shareholder. After all, it is just like a stockist system. Many stockists are also DXN members, so we do not see any problem in it initially. The second fatal mistake, we let the branch office run all the show. They operated independently. This opened out a chance for the crooked stockists now to revolt against the company and take the market away by establishing their own company. The sales in Thailand grew steadily, and when reached beginning of 1997, the sales touched 2 million baht. At the time, 1 ringgit could trade 10 baht, and 1 USD could trade 25 baht. So it is about 80,000 USD per month. Then something abnormal started to Europe. First, the branch started to delay payment. No? I keep on ordering, but the payment is not up to date. And there were a lot of line cutting. No? Many of the lines belonging to Malaysian members were hijacked into their line. This created a lot of complaints, and many members became angry about it. Even though I tried my best to persuade the partners in Thailand, but to no avail. Then suddenly they stopped ordering and moved to a imitator company without warning, the copycat of DXN. They invited me to discuss with them. I brought my wife, and there were 3 of them in front of me. From the beginning, I immediately sensed the atmosphere was not good enough. They were arrogant and non-smelling. Then they accused DXN of stealing the technology from that imitator. They claim the imitator is a true technical holder and supply the products to DXN. Now they decided to join the original company. Before I could even explain myself, one of them took out a pistol and put it on the table between us. He told me, "You do not want to see my face again in Thailand." Actually, this was a common dirty technique in southern Thailand. They cooperate with you. When the business was good, then they show you pistol and ask a thug to chase you away from Thailand. They thought that with my wife around, we would be frightened. But to their astonishment, my wife started to giggle and laugh at them. My wife knows me well. When someone dared to threaten me like that, I would deal with them squarely. Immediately, I leaned myself towards them and talked coolly, point my finger to the pistol and said to them in Malay, "Tunjuk pistol karat ni," meaning showing me this rusted and stupid pistol. Karat means rusted in Malay. Then I asked sarcastically, "Hang tak malu kah?" Hang is a Kedah dialect meaning you, and in a very rude way. Only during quarrels we use that. So the question when translated means, "Are you idiots not feeling shameful?" I told them if they want to show pistol, at least show something like the James Bond one, not this rusted pistol, the shameful pistol karat. All of them were shocked by the response of me and my wife. They expect us to run back to Malaysia like a frightened cat. But instead I'm yelling at them like a mad tiger. I pointed to my eye and told them, "Darah semku lebih darimu. Hang na my pistol kah? Mean my sandwich blood is more than you. And you idiot wanted to play pistol with me." They were shocked. I did not know how to respond to me. Then I challenged them to fire the first shot and see what would happen to them and their family. Of course, this was an open threat to them. I've learned from many lessons to the thug. Sometimes you have to use their rude language because this is the only thing they understand. Immediately they took back the pistol and apologized to me, and to me this was a misunderstanding. I told them not only I would come back to Thailand, if they dare to come and create trouble, and then they will see. Actually, half of my maternal families are in Thailand. There were no match to them if some conflict did happen. They tried to tune down the situation and would like to treat me and my wife with lunch. Both of us reject them flatly, As we were worried they may put some poison or black magic into the food, Then they took out the accent coffee and treated us coffee, which of course we accept. I told them, it was okay if they wanted to set up their own company. Then they did theirs, and DXN will be doing our own marketing. But if they try to play foul and violence, then I would deal with them to the end. This incident has a bad impact on DXN. When a foreign partner jumped ship, we were facing almost a total loss in the market. Also, partnering with others when they do not allow the HQ instruction or cutting the line in the market, it will be very difficult to handle. The risk is just too much. From this sad incident in Thailand, DXN learned a valuable lesson. We never join hands with anyone anymore. Throughout the branches in the world, DXN become a lone ranger, and we do it alone. All the branches all the branches are 100% owned by DXN without any local partners. This makes DXN to be the most skilled company in the world, without any worry about the local management, which may modify our rules and create unhealthy competition in the market and cut the lines. At that time, we also started to prepare to go into Indonesia. And suddenly, we had to reset the market in Thailand and did it all over again now. At that time, we lacked the resources to work on 2 foreign markets simultaneously. We decided that better focus in one market rather than try to catch 2 at the same time now. As the sayings go, those who try to catch 2 rabbits at the same time get no rabbit. So in 1997, we focused on the development of Indonesian market. I did go to my relative in Thailand to ask them to be my proxy for the company. They scolded me for not going to them in the first place. Later, we re-established the market in Thailand. Even if we put the focus on Indonesia, the market in Thailand did grow steadily again and reached 20 million bahts per month. 10 times the sales when they sold me the stupid crystal karat. The story of Thailand did not end here. After jumping the ship, the ex-partner of DXN quickly realized that the quality of the products for the imitator were not good at all, and the supply of products were not stable, and they did not have their farm and factories. And most importantly, many of the leaders missed me. They wanted to join back to DXN. Many of them were trained by me, and they missed the jokes and the story from me. The imitator could not even talk properly on the stage. Forget about training them the products and marketing skill. Like Pasu, they quickly ended in trouble. The market was the only worthwhile market for the imitator. So the imitators always try to squeeze them out and took over the company. They did not call me, as before that I yelled at this our ex-partner. They called my brother Bunni, expressing their will to join DXN again. At first, Bunni rejected them flatly, but like Pasu, they called Bunni again many times. Eventually, Bunni passed the message to me. I decided to meet them. I'm going to tell you the dramatic development of meeting them in the next video. See you then. Bye bye. Hi, Dr. Lim here. When it came to 1997, DXN need to make a choice to focus on Thailand or Indonesia as the next market to develop. There are pros and cons for both countries. Thailand is the land neighbor of Malaysia and only 45 minutes drive from DXN farm and factories. But they mainly speak Thai and hardly speak English. In southern Thailand, some can speak Malay, but they are minority. Language is the biggest barrier for us to develop this market. Also, the unhappiness in the encounter with the local ex-partner was not present at all. Indonesia is also the neighbor of Malaysia, but there is no land access. We have to cross the sea to reach there. The main advantage is they use the same language as in Malaysia. The Indonesian language and Malay are very close to each other, and normally we can understand each other. our life are full of making choices. We have to make one choice after the other. No? There is no free gift dropping from the sky. So we have to make a decision to focus in Indonesia or focus on Thailand. At the end of the day, I decided to go to Indonesia. We started to prepare for the market around April of 1997. It took us many months to apply for license, to operate the import permit, and etc. Finally, we identified a small shop lot in Jakarta and opened our branch in Indonesia. Our first sales happened around the end of July 1997, and we brought forward to August. So technically, it is August 1997 we started the market there. When stepped into September 1997, suddenly we are facing the greatest crisis that we ever faced, the meltdown of Asia finance. When we went to Indonesia, the exchange rate was 2,500 rupiah to 1 USD. However, when stepped into September, the exchange rate started to melt down. When we TT the money to Indonesia in September 1997, the exchange rate was 3,400 to 1 USD, but the bank refused to give us that rate and only honored 2,500. The exchange lost a lot of money in the transfer of money to Indonesia for setting up the market. The sales of the exchange were actually picking up well, and we started to stock up the buffer stock for the expansion of the market, which actually saved the exchange in the coming drastic meltdown of the currency. That time the market was full of anxiety and fear. Someone told me if the rupiah depreciated to 5,000 to 1 USD, they sure face a lot of problem. Then the rupiah depreciated to 5,000. Then they say if it depreciated to 8,000, they sure die, And it depreciated to 8,000. Then they say they will have to jump down from the top floor of the high-rise building to kill themselves if it touches 10,000. My goodness, the rupiah touches 15,000. We started to hear people committing suicide due to financial stress and business failure. At that time, the currency in Southeast Asia were hacked by the big financial shark and plummeted in a free fall style. And the hardest hit was suffered by Indonesia. The currency was almost depreciated on a daily basis. We are full of shock and worry, Many American companies raise the price almost on a weekly basis. But no matter how you raise the price, it cannot catch up with the free plunk of the rupiah. When entering 1998, things turned from bad to worse. Many American companies would collapse or paralyzed by the currency meltdown. It is no longer possible for the exchange to carry on the business as usual, as the currency has melted down from 1 USD to 2,500 to 15,000, depreciated 6 times in value now. Even if you increase the price 100%, the market would collapse, not to say 600% increment, which was suicidal if we try to increase the price to the extent. I decided to call a mass meeting with all the members to discuss the situation. At the time, Budiman Sabin, not yet full-time as a member, but helped me to manage the market. He gathered about 600 people in the hotel. Budiman, one key staff, and me sitting on the stage and facing about 600 members in the hall. The meeting was very eerie, With so many people in the hall, there was a perfect silence. Until today, I could not forget that eerie sensation. So many people gathered together, and absolutely no sound at all. I could sense the fear and stress in the member. They knew I had to make an important announcement. Either increase the price drastically or throw the towel and go back to Malaysia. Either of this was bad. Suddenly, I found my mind was blank. And for the first time in my life, I did not know how to make a speech to the audience. If I increase the price drastically, the market would collapse. If I do not increase the price, the company would collapse. Increase the price, you die. Do not increase the price, also die. I sat on the stage and staring at the members now. I could still vividly recall their faces. Oh, look, pale and full of worry. Before that, we meet in the office and decided to increase the price 100%. That was a painful decision, making me very reluctant, as it still could not save the situation. Time ticked by and Budiman softly remind me, boss, increase the price, increase the price. I have no power at all to fight the meltdown of the currency. I look at the pale faces of the member, and suddenly an overwhelming sadness crept through me. Maybe if we should die, then let us die together. I asked Budiman how much buffer stock in the warehouse now. Budiman told me we have about 4 months of buffer stock. If we do not double the price now, we will not even survive that long. I was sitting on the stage and frozen like a stone. Do not know what to say. One thing was clear. There was no point to increase the price. No matter how you raise the price under such a rapid financial meltdown, so died. Finally, I picked up the courage and talked to the member. Over the last year, we were facing this difficult financial storm. We fight the war against the financial meltdown briefly. Okay, the company have not done anything wrong. You have not done anything wrong. We were one family. To live, let us live together. To die, let us die together. Then I made a decision to rock them into a frenzied state and change the course of history of the exam. I told the crowd for the next 4 months, we would not increase the price. Let the currency go up and down. We stay put. Suddenly the crowd exploded, and they burst into cheers and jumped out from the chair. Then someone started to sing a song called Bujangan, about the lonely bachelor who has no money but his heart is happy. The song vibrated through the hall. Walau tiada wang tapi hati senang. This is the sentence that you should learn. Malay mean that even no money, my heart is happy. They started to dance with the rhythm of the song. The meeting was over. No matter what Budiman and me tried to talk to them, our speech was superseded by the song, and everybody was dancing. I remember this song to this day. Every time when I hear this old song, my heart always turns emotional. Okay, the news that DXN would not increase the price and stay put for the next 4 months spread like wildfire and ripple through the market. The time many MIM companies has stopped operation, all the members flocked to DXN. DXN became like a refugee camp. People queue up to join members. The line was so long, it extended to the outside road. At first, 10,000 members joined DXN in a month, then 20,000, and finally 50,000 members join DXN in a month. DXN survived. We may lost in the product's price, but the membership fee kept the company going. This is the power of Eka Naga, the one dragon or the one process company. From raw material processing until marketing, it is under one roof. This is to a great extent dampen the damage of the currency meltdown. As the wages and expenses were paid in local currency, DXN was not affected much by the up and down of the USD. The sales in DXN DXN Indonesia rocketed through the roof. We reached a few million USD per month. Over 20 years ago, that was top sales in Indonesia. The production reaches economy of scale, and we no longer lost money in the products and started to make money. The gathering in Indonesia was growing in number. At the peak, it reached 15,000 people in Senayan Stadium, the largest stadium in Indonesia. Indonesia still holds this record to this day, in DXN. During the gathering, members from India and Philippines were joined. in their anniversary. They were greatly impressed, no? And after going home, the sales in India and Philippines started to pick up strongly. Indonesia became our first major market, and that time members started to chant DXN #1, as we were #1 in Indonesia. There were many interesting stories of how members changed their life completely to the better life through DXN in Indonesia. From Indonesia, our market expanded to Philippines, from Philippines to America, from America to Latin America. From Malaysia, our market expanded to India, from India to the Middle East, from Middle East to Europe and Africa. DXN not only survived through the economic crisis, and every crisis actually made DXN stronger and bigger. We control the supply chain and the distribution chain, and this minimizes the impact of the currency fluctuation. So many countries like Philippines, India, Mexico, and Islam, over the year, the currency sprung a lot. But due to the experience in DXN Indonesia, DXN survived. As we have put it many times, surviving is winning in MLM. In MLM, if you survive, you always win. There were many interesting stories in Indonesia. We shall cover it in the next video. See you then. Bye-bye. Hi, Dr. here. Eventually, the imitator deteriorated quickly. And this is the first problem they are facing. Secondly, the imitator couldn't speak proper English, but his wife could speak fluent Thai, as she is the Malaysian Thai. But the wife know nothing about genotherapy, and all training has to be done by the Thai trainer. And the Thai trainer was trained by me. And basically, they were using the genotherapy of DXN. This was the second problem. Third, when they asked to visit the farm and factory, the imitator brought them to the factory and the farm of DXN. Then they used Photoshop, to modify the photo and put in their company name and logo. But they forgot, the DXN logo in the background and become a big joke in the market. Fourth, was the imitator using the supply of products to threaten them, into submission. If they refuse to cooperate or ask too many questions, then they will delay the products. Not only that, sometimes the market was active and suddenly the imitator was short of products. Apparently, they got the products from the third party and the supply chain was not smooth. Lastly, also the most deadly problem was the imitator planned to take over the company completely. They gang up with the trainer and told the ex-partner of the DXN that now the imitator group has 51%. They all have to listen to the imitator. All the bank accounts will be in their signatory and etc. I was on my last to date after listening to his problem. I thought he must be an idiot as when he joined hands with DXN, he was a major shareholder. Then why out of a sudden join hands with some imitator and become a smaller shareholder? He told me he was influenced and cheated by the imitator, that their technology and supply it to DXN. And the owner of the factory and the farm of the DXN family. Hi, Dr. Lim here. Today we continue the story of Paso. This is actually not a motivation story, but this is about the dark story of Paso. I seldom tell this story, but it may not do well for the good reputation of Paso. But over the years, I saw many MLM DXN leaders committing the same mistake again and again. Maybe I should tell this story as an educational message for those leaders. What they should do when suddenly a lot of money comes into their life and turns them crazy. By right, when a lot of money comes into your life, it should be a happy incident, right? It depends on how you handle the money. If not, you end up unexpectedly having trouble in life. So today the story is how money can make you crazy. You're not prepared for it. Come back to Paso. In the beginning, he was still serving in the government, doing odd jobs, getting about 250 ringgit per month. That times 1 USD could trade for 2.5 ringgit. So about $100 a day. This is not enough for the expenses of the family, so his wife roasted some coffee and he tried to sell it. Eventually failed and the van was taken by the bank. In the first month joining the DXN, his bonus is 37